I don't understand the 2-point analytic thought process. And this specifically is with Doug Pederson, because to me, at least, there is a point in overdoing it. I know analytics is kind of a hot button issue. It's a polarizing topic where some people believe analytics is stupid. They don't belong in the game. It's ruining the game. Other people, are a slave to the numbers, if you will, rely only on analytics, skew on the numbers, and just whatever the numbers say we're going to do. There has to be some sort of balance. And to me, at least, Doug Pederson is really starting to push the boundaries where it comes to going for two, just making zero sense at all. So Doug Pederson and the Eagles are down by 11 early in the first half. They score a touchdown. All right, they're down by 5. They go for 2 to get the deficit down to 3, right? You're within a field goal. Okay. Down by 11, you score a touchdown. Going for 2, it's not uncommon. Maybe depending upon where you are in the game. If it's early in the game, maybe you won't do it. But it's not like outrageous. It's not crazy. It's not outlandish. Go for 2, they get it. All right, so you get it. You're down by 3. Mission accomplished. Now a field goal ties the game. Later on in the game, Eagles score another touchdown. They are down 21-17, down by 4. Kick the extra point, you're down by 3. A field goal ties the game. Well, Doug Pederson, down 21-17, decides to go for 2 again. And I don't get how it makes sense. Like, this is where I question the analytics going for 2 all the time and trying to balance the numbers. I don't understand the math. Down by 4, kick the extra point, you get down by 3. You're within a field goal. How it makes sense to go for 2? Because guess what? It didn't work. They didn't get it, and they remained down by 4. So now, in the second half, you need a touchdown to take the lead. Now, I'm not anti-analytics. They do have a place in the game, and it does help. I mean, the numbers play out over a long period of time. It helps make informed decisions, right? Going for a fourth down, what the percentage is within 4 yards, within 5 yards. Does it make sense to go for it here? In my own territory, but it's only 4th and 1. The percentage chance of getting a tie. Analytics has a place in the game for sure. But what I don't understand is that when you are a slave to the numbers, where you're trying to just outsmart everyone, you're almost using the analytics as a tool to show how smart you are compared to everyone else, that's when it backfires. That's when it has its drawbacks. Analytics has a place in the game for sure, but you also have to use your brain, have a feel for the game. The offense for the Eagles has struggled scoring points all season long, right? It's not a hot take. They've had injuries on offensive line, they've had injuries at running back, injuries at wide receiver. They are not the Seahawks and Russell Wilson where they're going up and down the field, or they're the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes going up and down the field every single time you get the ball, and you're confident they're going to score 2 more touchdowns, 3 more touchdowns. The Eagles, you got to get whatever you can get. You can't assume you're scoring touchdowns every single drive. So now to put your team in a position where they have to score a touchdown in order to take the lead again, or get back in the game, I don't get it. When a field goal would have just done due, at least to tie the game. Analytics has a place, but when you try to outsmart everybody and try to overdo it, it backfires. And this, to me, is a case where it backfired. Now, that decision didn't have a direct impact on the game. The Giants win by 10, 27-17. But it's one of those head-scratching decisions where the math, like we don't have to overdo it here. We don't have to pretend we're reinventing the game just to show everyone, oh, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Kick the field goal, stay down by 3. Follow the book. There's a reason why the outline is there. Field goal now, all you need to tie the game is to have a touchdown. Obviously, as we know, the Eagles didn't get another touchdown the rest of the game. Lose by 10. Trying to outsmart everybody else has its own drawbacks. The 2-point analytics, to me, at least for Doug Pederson specifically, is one of those guys where I think he tries to outsmart everyone else, and it's come back to bite him more than it's helped him out. Let's go to last night's Sunday Night Football game. Ravens-Patriots in a monsoon in New England. The rain just felt like it was getting harder and harder and harder as the game went on. And obviously, as we know, the Patriots win 23-17. But it's interesting because another game where the Ravens offense struggles. Now, again, the elements have a lot to do with it. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not pretending like the rain didn't have an impact. It absolutely did. But when you listen to what Lamar Jackson said earlier this week on the Rich Eisen show, seeing how, opposing defenses are calling out the Ravens' plays, whether it's by formation, whether it's by hard count, whatever key the defenses are picking up upon, they are becoming more familiar with the Ravens' offense. They're knowing where the ball is going. And in doing so, the Ravens' offense has struggled this year, right? Nowhere near the potency, the explosiveness that they were last year. Lamar Jackson, by far and away, ran away with the MVP this year, anything but the case. So teams have adjusted to the Ravens in the offseason. And my question is, how have the Ravens not adjusted back? Like, that's what I guess I'm struggling to process so far, and what's so befuddling watching this Ravens team. They have an incredible coaching staff. John Harbaugh, one of the best coaches in the NFL, doesn't get enough praise for what he can do and the consistency that he has that Ravens team playing year in and year out. Greg Roman as offensive coordinator, a ton of credit, because both him and Harbaugh took Lamar Jackson in the first round, as we know, back in 2017. Still had Joe Flacco as their starter, so you had an offense built for Joe Flacco, built to cater to Joe Flacco's needs, a pro-style offense, if you will, with a backup that is anything but a pro-style quarterback, right? As we know, Lamar Jackson, super dynamic, can kill you with his legs. So they took that team that was struggling with Joe Flacco in the middle of 2018, inserted Lamar Jackson, was able to transform the offense within the season. This is not a whole offseason to scout, draft players, sign free agents to fit the offense. This was in the middle of a season. Change your entire dynamic of offense to fit and cater to what Lamar Jackson does. They made the playoffs, and then that following year, they just took it to overdrive, right? Run. In doing so, having so much success as they did on the ground, that opened up the passing game. They're the most efficient passing offense last year in the NFL. Most efficient passing offense. We think about the Ravens, we think about running. They had the most efficient passing offense in the NFL last year, in part because defenses were petrified about the run. They didn't know who was carrying the ball and where it was going. And then opened up many passing lanes for Lamar Jackson. This year, defenses have adjusted. The running game isn't as explosive as it was. I love the J.K. Dobbins pick. He struggled to get going. Mark Ingram, Gus Edwards, it's just not as potent and explosive as it was last year. Now, they've had injuries, right? You know, they are out with Ronnie Stanley out for the year. Marshall Yonder retired before the season started, so they've had their own issues. But that shouldn't be enough to stop why the Ravens haven't been successful in offense so far. So I have a lot more questions right now than I have answers. And it's just more curious of what's going on. Because even so, you never really hear drama come out of Baltimore. You never really hear Lamar Jackson. Now, I don't think it was a slight question the coaching staff when you say that defenses are calling out their plays. But you can take it as a slight that, hey, the offense is not creative enough. Greg Roman maybe isn't doing enough to disguise what he wants to do. In doing so, it's making it easy to telegraph what you're doing in offense, and that's why defenses know what's coming. Something's going on there in Baltimore, and this is just another game where the Ravens struggle offensively. Now, again, so the monsoon, I understand that. But they still struggle to kind of get the ball rolling, still struggle to be their same explosive selves, and it ends in another loss for the Ravens. Now, they're 6-3, the sky's not falling. But it does make you wonder what's going on there. Can this offense make adjustments? Because if not, they are not really a playoff threat right now. There's the Chiefs and the Steelers and everyone else in the AFC, and that gap is continuing to widen. So those are teams and everyone else. The Ravens are supposed to be there. The Ravens were really supposed to be where the Steelers were. And that's been anything but the case so far. Interesting to see going forward what happens coming out of Baltimore. Speaking of interesting going forward, the Saints offense could get very interesting. Now, in case you missed it, Drew Brees didn't play the second half of yesterday's game against the 49ers. We hope he's okay. It was because of rib injury. He took a massive hit early in the game, got slammed on his back. I thought maybe his head got hit. It seems like maybe there was some sort of rib injury going on. And there is now thought and speculation that Drew Brees could miss some time, which would mean enter Jameis Winston, who threw 10 passes yesterday, completed 6 for 63 yards. I am very interested and intrigued to see how Jameis Winston looks in extended playing time in Sean Payne's offense. If Drew Brees is out next week, maybe he's out for the next 2 or 3 weeks if they're cautious with trying to make sure Brees is 100% healthy before returning. There's going to be a few-week tryout, if you will, for Jameis Winston, maybe to be their quarterback next year for the Saints, maybe to be someone else's quarterback next year somewhere else. I said on this show after week number 2, after the Saints and Drew Brees looked old on Monday night against the Raiders, he wasn't throwing the ball well. He was struggling already. That Raiders defense, which as we know now, really bad, had a lot of success in defending Drew Brees and that Saints offense all the way back in week number 2 on that Monday night game. I declared right on this show, the Saints cannot win a Super Bowl with Drew Brees as their quarterback. They have a better shot with Jameis Winston under center. He gives them a better chance of winning. I'm standing by that. I'm not taking it back because Drew Brees had some good games since. The question was never about, for Drew Brees, what he does in the regular season. What can he do in the postseason? Checking down, throwing underneath does not win you games in the postseason. He has struggled in recent years in playoff games. So that was always the question. Can he get it done in the postseason? He has in the past few years. And I'm really interested now how Jameis Winston looks. Because you know what? I said Jameis Winston, the Saints should consider, playing Jameis Winston at some point this year. Now you got your chance. Now Sean Payton has an opportunity. He signed Jameis Winston into a 1-year deal. He bought super low on a guy with a ton of talent who just can't, keep the ball from going to the other team. If we get a 2 or 3 week look at Jameis Winston, I'm very honestly excited to see how he looks with the Saints offense. I think he could have success. I really do. I think Sean Payton is a good enough coach where he will not allow Jameis Winston to be put in situations where he is going to make mistakes. I really do believe that. So I'm very interested to see how this works out. Obviously, we wish good health for Drew Brees, but there is some thought and speculation on this Monday morning that Drew Brees could miss some more time. He's getting an MRI in the ribs. But if he misses an extended period of time, I am very interested to see how Jameis looks in that Saints offense. So last week we sat here, speaking of the Saints, last Monday, a week ago today, I sat here and said, that blowout the Saints delivered to the Buccaneers, that total beatdown Tampa Bay suffered on Sunday Night Football, losing to the Saints 38-3 in your home turf. I said, you know what? That was a one-off. A one-game stinker. They didn't bring it. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong for Tampa Bay. Don't read much into it. It's just one of those nights where everything went wrong. Everything benefited the Saints, and those nights happen. Well, what happened yesterday against the Panthers, a scrappy Panthers team, mind you, that's played tough, that's played hard under Matt Rule, similar to the Giants, where the wins and loss record don't reflect how tough this team is playing and how they push good teams. Last week, they went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs for 4 quarters in Kansas City. Yesterday, the Buccaneers reasserted themselves. Got, kind of righted the ship. 46 points to score in the Buccaneers, on the Panthers. 544 yards of total offense. Tom Brady dazzling 341 yards, 3 touchdowns, 28-39. Efficient, deadly. They got going on the right track again. The defense, again, embarrassed a week ago against the Saints, held the Panthers just 187 total offense yards. That's it. 187 yards of total offense for the Panthers yesterday. Now, I know Teddy Bridgewater had an injury, and he missed, a portion of the game. It's still very impressive to hold an entire team under 200 total yards. Buccaneers defense is back. Buccaneers offense is back. They showed in a big way yesterday. I'm telling you, that game against last Sunday night against the Saints, looking more and more and more like a fluke. Watch out for the Buccaneers. And finally, I want to circle back to one game we talked about earlier, the Cardinals and the Bills, right? High flying, a lot of points scored, 2 young quarterbacks doing it out. It was a lot of fun to watch. We always talk about we always talk about with quarterbacks, they make everyone around them better, right? A great quarterback, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, the list goes on and on of great quarterbacks. They make their entire team, they make the entire offense around them better. They make the offensive line better. They make the running backs better. They make the wide receivers better. They make the tight ends better. Whether it's ball placement, whether it's audible, whether it's just putting the ball on them, whether it's scrambling to give the offensive line some more time, great quarterbacks make the team around them better. That's what makes them great. Rarely, though, do we talk about position players making the quarterbacks better. And that's what we had yesterday with the Cardinals-Bills game. Think about it. Both teams, the Cardinals and the Bills, traded for big-time wide receivers this offseason. And so far, Stefon Diggs with Buffalo, DeAndre Hopkins with the Cardinals, not only had a massive impact on their teams, they've made their young quarterbacks around them better. Stefon Diggs yesterday, 10 catches on 11 targets, so he's a vacuum, catching everything that's thrown to him, 93 yards, and obviously that massive touchdown to put the Bills ahead with just under 30 seconds to go. Josh Allen has played better this year, in part because Stefon Diggs is present, or of his presence on the offense, because of his talent, because he's that dog, that number one option where you throw the ball up, he's going to get it. You just put it in the radius, Stefon Diggs is coming down with it. So that confidence that Josh Allen has in Diggs, the ability that Diggs has alone, has made Josh Allen better. On the flip side, the same with DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins, 7 catches, 127 yards, and as we know, that massive touchdown on the Hail Mary from Kyler Murray that ended up winning in the game with just 2 seconds left. Murray's wasted no time getting his what's the word I'm looking for here? Continuity down, if you will, getting his familiarity with Hopkins. He's thrown the ball really since game 1, throwing it to him often. He loves his new toy. When you have a bona fide number 1 stud receiver, you throw the ball anywhere in their direction, they're going to come down with it. It grows the confidence for Kyler Murray. It grows the confidence for Josh Allen.